The first book of Kings. Kings, chaos, and that one-time fire came from the sky. Ah, the first book of Kings. The biblical equivalent of a medieval soap opera, where everyone's fighting for a throne. Prophets are pulling off miraculous stunts, and the moral compass of Israel is spinning out of control. If you ever wondered what happens when you give a bunch of ancient rulers too much power and not enough wisdom, you're in the right place. It's got everything: royal drama, political intrigue, epic showdowns, and even a fiery contest on a mountain. So grab some popcorn, because the first book of Kings is one wild ride. Chapters 1-2. The throne drama. Who gets the crown? We kick things off with King David, who's nearing the end of his life and feeling about as energetic as your grandpa after Thanksgiving dinner. There's a bit of an issue. David hasn't officially named his successor. Enter Adonijah, David's son, who figures, "Hey, Dad's almost out, so I'll just go ahead and crown myself king." He throws himself a fancy coronation party, invites his friends, and starts living like royalty. Classic move, right? But there's one problem. God and David had already decided that Solomon, you know, the guy with all the future wisdom, was supposed to be the next king. So, in a plot twist straight out of a Shakespearean drama, Bathsheba, Solomon's mom, and the prophet Nathan team up to stop Adonijah. David finally steps in and says, "Okay, Solomon, it's your time to shine." Solomon gets crowned king, and Adonijah's party? Total bust. Chapters 3-4. Solomon's wisdom. God's gift to a 20-something ruler. Now that Solomon's on the throne, he's got one big question. How am I going to rule this chaotic kingdom? Instead of asking for riches, power, or the ability to turn water into coffee, which would have been a solid choice, Solomon asks God for wisdom. And God, impressed with Solomon's priorities, grants him the wisdom of like 1,000 TED Talks. Solomon becomes famous for his judgments, especially the one where he settles a dispute between two women fighting over a baby. He suggests cutting the baby in half, as one does, and the real mother immediately gives up her claim to save the child. Solomon's like, boom, wisdom. His fame grows, and people from all over come to hear his wisdom and see his glorious kingdom. Solomon's like the Bible's version of Google, and everyone's searching for his advice. Chapters 5-8. Building the Temple. Solomon's massive construction project. Solomon isn't just wise. He's also got some serious construction goals. He builds the temple in Jerusalem, a magnificent house for God that makes every other building look like a garden shed. This thing is decked out with gold, cedar, bronze, and all the finest materials you can imagine. It's the ultimate symbol of Israel's glory. And when it's finally finished, Solomon holds a huge dedication ceremony. The whole nation of Israel gathers as the Ark of the Covenant is brought into the temple. God's presence fills the place like a cloud, and Solomon prays one of the most epic prayers in the Bible, asking God to bless the temple and the people. For a while, everything is going great. Solomon's wisdom is shining, Israel is prospering, and the people are worshiping God in the most magnificent temple ever built. Chapters 9-11. Solomon's downfall. Too many wives, too many gods. But hold on, because things start to take a turn. As wise as Solomon is, he's got a bit of a weakness for foreign women. He marries a bunch of them, 700 wives and 300 concubines to be exact. Now, marrying one person is complicated enough, but Solomon apparently thought, what's life without some extra drama? And drama there is, because these wives bring their foreign gods with them, and Solomon starts worshiping them. Yep, Mr. Wisdom himself ends up building shrines for idols. This doesn't sit well with God, who had specifically told Solomon to stay faithful. So God tells Solomon, because you've turned your heart away, your kingdom will be torn apart, just not during your lifetime, out of respect for your father David. And thus begins the slow unraveling of Israel. Chapters 12-14. Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Kingdom split. After Solomon dies, his son Rehoboam takes the throne. Sorry ahead for this rude interruption. At Modern Testament Talks, we play by the rules. So I thought it might be important to let you know some rules about this program. Rule number 1. Stop, drop, and open up shop. It's important stuff. Rule number 2. Continue watching till the end, because our content is straight cash money. Rule number 3. Join us in Faith Foundations, Bible study, journaling and art activity. We end all episodes with, and the final rule. We ask that you come along and grow your faith with all of us. And now, back to the show. Takes the throne, and, well, things don't exactly go smoothly. The people come to Rehoboam and say, "Hey, can you lighten the load a bit? Your dad made things kind of tough for us." Instead of listening to his elders, Rehoboam takes advice from his bros, who tell him to make things even harder for the people. Great advice, right? Not. As you can imagine, this doesn't go over well. Jeroboam, a former servant of Solomon, leads a rebellion, and the kingdom splits into two. Israel in the north, with Jeroboam as king, and Judah in the south, with Rehoboam on the throne. It's like a messy family breakup, and things never really get back on track. Chapters 17, 19. Elijah, the prophet who called down fire. Now let's talk about Elijah, one of the most badass prophets in the Bible. During the reign of Ahab, one of Israel's worst kings, Elijah steps onto the scene and immediately makes waves. Ahab and his queen Jezebel are leading the people into idol worship. Big surprise there. And Elijah's not having any of it. In one of the most epic showdowns in the Bible, Elijah challenges the prophets of Baal to a contest. They go up on Mount Carmel, and Elijah says, "Let's see whose God is real, yours or mine. Whichever God sends fire from the sky to burn up the sacrifice is the true God." The prophets of Baal spend all day dancing, chanting, and cutting themselves, but nothing happens. Elijah, meanwhile, casually soaks his altar in water, just to make things interesting, and prays a simple prayer. Boom! Fire falls from heaven and consumes the sacrifice, the altar, the water, and everything around it. Talk about a mic drop moment. The people immediately fall on their faces and declare, "The Lord, He is God." It's one of the most dramatic moments in the Bible, and Elijah solidifies his reputation as a fearless prophet who stands up for God. So, in conclusion, lessons from 1 Kings: wisdom, power, and staying faithful. The first book of Kings is a lesson in contrasts. You've got Solomon, the wisest king who ever lived, but who still managed to make some epic blunders. You've got kings who led their people astray, and prophets like Elijah who called the people back to God in dramatic fashion. The main takeaway? Wisdom and power mean nothing if you don't stay faithful to God. Solomon's wisdom was legendary, but his unfaithfulness led to the division of the kingdom. The people needed leaders who would follow God wholeheartedly, and when they didn't get that, things fell apart fast. The first book of Kings reminds us that even when we have great gifts, it's our relationship with God that matters most. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of idolatry, the importance of good leadership, and the incredible power of a faithful life. Whether you're a king or a prophet,